Spoilers for Elbaf, but recently I did a video talking about how I thought Gunko, now known as Princess Shuri thanks to the Brook flashback, could be the fulfillment of an Usopp lie and she could be joining the crew in the future. The fulfillment of the Usopp lie that I'm talking about is the lie told in Thriller Bark to an unconscious Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji, in which Usopp says that there is a beautiful sword master carrying meat. So, keeping all that in mind, what is so interesting about Gunko based on the information that we learn in chapter 1185 is that it seems as though Brook, while training Gunko, or Princess Shuri, is alluding to the idea that she has developed advanced observation haki, or at least what the fans call advanced observation haki, because he comments that it appears as though she can see the future. This is interesting because this puts her in the same wheelhouse as Loki in a weird way, because both of them seem to just inherently know how to use advanced haki maneuvers at very early ages with little to no training, because it appears as though during his various bouts in the Elbaf flashback that Loki somehow knows how to offensively use Conqueror's haki, and that's how he defeats Herald, right? So it's super weird here that Gunko too is in the same boat, and how she just happens upon advanced observation haki and she is learning how to perceive the future by just training against Brook in swordsmanship. What's also quite interesting about this, looking towards the present, because in the present, Gunko is the user of the arrow fruit, which seems to be a Paramecia type dough fruit that more times than not travels along a predetermined path. This is kind of interesting now because this directly contradicts Future Sight, because Future Sight allows the user to see a possible future, something that hasn't happened yet, whereas the arrow fruit is pretty obvious in the path that it lays out once an arrow is generated. So I find that a very odd sort of contradiction, because we haven't really had anyone who has an ability that does the exact opposite of what Haki is intended to do, which makes me think that Gunko could be set aside to be a main character, because just that little tidbit alone generates interest and intrigue. So I wonder if this is a ticket to show that there's more to her than meets the eye, and could provide some very interesting power dynamics, presumably in the future. If, say, she sees a possible future and perhaps sets up arrows to contradict or interact with that future, seeing as how they always go along a predetermined path. I could see that being the case if it hasn't happened already, but yeah, I do find her very interesting in that way, and I do think she's being set up to be possibly more important in the future, or she has more wheels to really roll as a main character in the future. But we'll have to wait and see. Though I do find it interesting that both she and Loki were very adept at Haki at very early stages in their lives, on top of having very odd eyes that neither of their parents seem to have. I just find that super weird. But we'll have to wait and see if any of this matters, or if any of this weird physiology stuff means anything in the future. But with that being said, if you are enjoying the content so far, click the like button, and if you want to see more from me, hit the subscribe button followed by that bell so you never miss a video. In addition, if you could, hit the hype button because it really does help. With that being said, give me your thoughts and tell your friends about Polypede. Works!